Hola clase. Today we will be going over a section called In Contexto. This is the section which contains the vocabulary words which we've been learning this week and provides some context to help you learn these words or remember these words. So pay attention to the words as we go through this, and then there will be a worksheet afterwards that contains some questions and then see if there's any other directions posted on the Spanish classroom page. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm looking at this section in the book called In Contexto Vocabulario, and as you remember, we've gone over many of these sections before. It includes some scenarios that help us learn our vocabulary words. All right, so there's part A, part B, part C, part D, E, and F, and I'll be going over and reading all these parts. But before we get to part A, it says, Hola, Ignacio y yo estamos en la tienda de deportes. Vamos a ver qué hay. Hello, Ignacio and I are in the sports store. The store of sports is the literal translation to that, but it's the sports store, or in English, the sports store. So, la tienda de deportes. Vamos a ver qué hay. Let's go and see what there is. Parte A. A mí me gusta andar en patineta. Uso un casco cuando ando en patineta y cuando uso patines. So, this girl is speaking. She's saying, me, I like to ride a skateboard, or I like to skateboard. It could translate to I like to skateboard, or it could literally translate to I like to ride on a skateboard. I use a helmet when I ride on a skateboard, and when I use patines. So patines are roller skates. So patines are roller skates, and a patineta is a skateboard. Okay? So look at the similarity between the two words and look at the differences. Roller skates are patines, los patines, while a skateboard is la patineta. Okay? So part B. Aquí hay de todo para practicar deportes como el baloncesto, el voleibol, el fútbol, y el fútbol americano. So she's talking about the sports store. She's saying here there is everything that you need to practice basketball, volleyball, football, and American football. So el fútbol is soccer. And even in English and other countries like England, they call it football. They don't call it soccer there. In Spanish, it's el fútbol as well. And then our style of football, or we use the word football over here to mean something different. We're talking about football as in the NHL, or the 49ers. So the 49ers are a team that plays fútbol americano. This is American style football. Y hay una bola especial para cada deporte. This means, and there is a special ball for every sport, for each sport. Now, I haven't used bola in your vocabulary, and you're not expected to know that yet. But I did use a different word. I gave you a different word for ball, and we'll get there in a minute. So that's saying, and there is a ball, a special ball for every sport. El baloncesto y el voleibol se practican una cancha. So basketball and volleyball, they practice on a court. Una cancha is a court. El fútbol y el fútbol americano se practican en un campo. That means they practice on a field. Un campo is a field. So el fútbol americano, el fútbol, those are los campos, and el baloncesto and el voleibol are on las canchas, which are courts. So a cancha is a court, like a basketball court or a volleyball court, and a campo is a field, like a football field or a soccer field. Okay? So a veces se practican en un estadio. Sometimes they practice in a stadium, like a football stadium or a soccer stadium. All right, let's go over here to part C. So we have this picture here, and this gives us some of the context clues to what these things are. So it says, practicas el béisbol con un guante, un bate y una pelota. Esta es una foto del equipo de béisbol de Ignacio. So that's what they're talking about right here, el equipo. So let's go right to the top here before we get there, and let's talk about this. So you practice baseball with a glove, a bat, and a ball. So pelota is the word for ball that I mentioned earlier, and that's what I included on your sheet. Una pelota is a ball. Esta es una foto del equipo de béisbol de Ignacio. So this is a photo of the baseball team that Ignacio is on. This literal translation is, this is a photo of the team of baseball of Ignacio. But in English we would say this is a photo of Ignacio's baseball team. And the word for team is el equipo. That means the team. Equipo is the word for team. All right? So there's el equipo. And for baseball, you use un guante, which is, again, it's a glove, un bate, y una pelota. All right? And pelota isn't just reserved for a baseball. It could be a basketball. It could be any sort of a ball. All right? But we'll talk more about that later. There's a few different words for ball. Right now we're focusing on pelota. Let's take a look at part D. So for part D, oh, okay, there it is. So we have this image of this girl lifting a weight here, and the weight is called a pesa. This says the weight, and the word for weight is pesa, la pesa. And it says, it's a question. ¿Te gusta levantar pesas? ¿Te gusta levantar pesas? Do you like to lift weights? All right, that's what that says. And then part E, we have this image of this guy with una raqueta, with a tennis racket. Or the word racket just means racket, doesn't mean tennis racket. So raqueta is racket. Para practicar el tenis, usas una raqueta y una bola. All right. So in this case, they're using the other word for ball, which is bola. All right. So to practice tennis, you use a racket and a ball. Part F. En Puerto Rico, es divertido esquiar en el agua o practicar el surfing. All right, so in Puerto Rico, it's fun to ski in the water or to practice surfing. All right, so esquiar is the infinitive form of this verb, which means to ski. Esquiar means to ski. In this case, he's skiing on water. And then el surfing. Yeah, that's actually the same as it is in English. El surfing. Okay? So what I'm going to have you guys do today is I'm going to have you guys answer these questions. And these are preguntas personales, meaning that they're questions about yourself. They're personal questions. The first one says, ¿Practicas deportes? That means, do you practice sports? So you'll answer this on your Google Doc. You could say, sí, yo practico deportes. So practicas is just an AR verb, all right? So you have to conjugate it to match I practice. So you say, yo practico deportes. And if you don't, say, no practico deportes. All right? So either you could say, sí practico deportes, or you could say, no practico deportes. So it's PRACTICO if you want to say I practice or I don't practice. In that case, you would just put a no in front of practico, which means I don't practice. Number 2 says, ¿Practicas el baloncesto o el voleibol? All right. Now for this one, even if you don't participate in any of these sports, or if you don't practice any of these sports, go ahead and just act like you do. Pick one. Either pick baloncesto, which is basketball, or pick volleyball. And just say practico. You could say yo practico baloncesto, or yo practico voleibol. For number 3, ¿te gusta más mirar el fútbol o el fútbol americano? And it's asking, what do you like more? What do you like to watch more? Soccer, which soccer is football, or American football? So do you like to watch soccer or football? If you like to watch soccer, you say, me gusta el fútbol. If you like to watch American style football, you say, me gusta el fútbol americano. Number 4, número 4 says, ¿cuál es tu deporte favorito? ¿Cuál es tu deporte favorito? So for this one, you may have to go back to your vocabulary sheet that you've been recording the vocabulary in over these past couple of days, and you may have to find a sport from that list that you like. So this is saying, what is your favorite sport? ¿Cuál es tu deporte favorito? Which sport is your favorite? Okay, and so you could say baloncesto, you could say volleyball, baseball. There's several sports on this page. All right, and they're all in your notes. Okay, fútbol americano, el fútbol, el voleibol, el baloncesto, etc. All right, número 5. ¿Qué usas cuando practicas tu deporte favorito? ¿Qué usas? What do you use when you practice your favorite sport? All right. If you're into skateboarding, you could say, uso un casco. I use a helmet. Or uso una patineta. I use a skateboard. Or if you practice baseball, for some of these questions, if you guys don't do any of these sports, you just act like you do and say something like uso un bate or uso un guante, something like that for that question, okay? So guys, if you're having any trouble with this, remember that I'm on Google Hangouts all day waiting for you guys so that I can help you. So please message me with questions, okay? All right, so go ahead and go into your Google Doc, answer these preguntas personales. I may have another thing for you to do after you're done with this, so check the post.